Welcome to today's story, one that reminds us all of the power of perseverance, the strength we find in humility, and the lessons we learn from those who lead with faith. Whether you're facing a challenge or simply seeking a bit of inspiration, this story will show you that your journey, no matter how difficult, is worth every step. So sit back, relax, and let this story inspire you to keep moving forward, no matter the odds. It was the beginning of a new season at Orange Hills Academy, an all-girls Christian school known more for its academics than its athletics. But change was in the air. A young woman named Courtney Smith Donnelly stepped onto the field, not just as a new biology and science teacher, but as the newly appointed cross-country coach. This was her first time coaching, ever. As she stood before a group of teenage girls, most skeptical, some curious, she introduced herself and asked a bold question. "Do you girls want to be a strong contender to win the state meet this year?" There was hesitation. One girl muttered a, "Yeah." Slowly, a few more joined in. The spark of belief was faint, but it was there. Courtney quickly learned that all the girls were returning team members. No new recruits, no freshmen. The previous coach, Coach Holloway, had left for another job. The legacy of the team? A mix of hope and heartbreak. They never won a state title. Last year, they had finished 10th, and their strongest competition, Eastern Valley, had dominated. Still, Courtney was determined. Without wasting time, she asked them to start with an easy jog, just one lap around the field. She wanted to watch how they moved. One runner stood out, Kristen Sims, a senior. When Courtney asked if Kristen had won state last year, she replied, "No, I finished 6th. Courtney was amazed. "If that was easy, then when you go hard, you must be incredibly fast," she said. Kristen had been training since spring track season. She was in peak shape, but also used to leading herself. Later that day, Kristen returned home and vented to her father. She didn't like the new coach. She thought Courtney lacked experience, didn't know what she was doing, and slowed them down during practice. Her father, frustrated, replied simply, "When she doesn't know what she's doing, just do what you know." It was clear, Kristen was used to pushing herself, and didn't believe a rookie coach could teach her anything new. But behind the scenes, something deeper was happening. These girls weren't just runners. They were daughters of busy parents, single mothers, distant fathers. They were 15-year-olds navigating crushes, strict curfews, and broken homes. One girl wasn't allowed to date. Another's dad didn't care what she did. Some missed their fathers, only seeing them twice a year. Others lived in homes where no one paid attention. They were each running for different reasons: to escape, to prove themselves, to find purpose. Courtney's job wasn't just to train a team. It was to understand each girl's story and turn their struggles into strength. To unite them. To build not just athletes, but champions, in body and in spirit. And so began their journey, one lap at a time. To build a winning team, you need two things: endurance and strength. But Coach Courtney Smith Donnelly believed something else was just as essential: time. Time to train. Time to learn. Time to grow into champions. Standing before her new team, she laid down the foundation: run slow, run easy, prevent injuries. Every day mattered. Sleep mattered. Nutrition mattered. They weren't just building runners, they were building resilience. That day, she marked out a training course, familiar to most of the girls, but with one major addition: the hill. The dreaded hill. "Do we really have to do it 2 times? One of the girls groaned. "Yes," Courtney replied. "And in the near future you'll be doing it 3. They laughed nervously. None of them had ever run the state meet course before, a challenging route through Equestrian Park, full of hills and tough terrain. "Remember," she told them, "we're not going hard today. Just slow and easy. But don't forget, we've got one goal this year: to win the state meet." Later that day, Courtney had her first encounter with Neil Sims, father of senior runner Kristen. He came to greet the new coach, but his tone was sharp. "So, you're the new coach. First time coaching cross country, huh?" Must feel like a kid with a new toy. Neil didn't trust her. He believed Kristen had a shot at the individual state title, and he didn't want that chance ruined by an inexperienced leader. Coach Holloway worked them hard, he said. Real hard. That's how we won. But Courtney stood firm. I don't believe in running girls into the ground. We'll train smart and still compete. Neil wasn't convinced. He took his frustration straight to Ken, a school administrator. You're not taking this seriously, he argued. My daughter could earn a scholarship, and you're letting a science teacher coach one of our best teams? But Ken didn't budge. The school had hired Courtney for her qualifications. She answered the call when they needed someone. And now she was the coach, like it or not. Meanwhile, across town, another girl, Rebecca, was dealing with pressure of her own. After forgetting to do the dishes, she faced her mother's sharp words. You have nothing to do all day except run, and you can't even remember the one thing I asked? Running wasn't her only struggle. For some of these girls, the hardest race began the moment they got home. Soon after, a small group of girls met up on their own. Kristen, ever the self-starter, was already preparing for an extra workout. Let's go now, she said. Practice later won't be hard. Heidi hesitated. So did Anna. They debated, follow the coach's recovery plan? Or train harder on their own? We could be top 5 at state, Kristen insisted. But we have to push, not just jog. The others reminded her, Courtney was trying to protect them from early season injuries. They'd had tough workouts under Holloway before, some even left them sore for days. But did you get injured? Kristen pressed. They hadn't. We're not getting to state with her, Kristen declared. She's never coached before. She doesn't know what she's doing. And with that, the divide grew deeper, between those who trusted their coach and those who didn't. The next day at practice, Coach Donnelly wrapped things up. Good job, everybody. Same time tomorrow. But she noticed something. Heidi looked off. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. You look a little stiff. Maybe a little tight. I just need to stretch more. Courtney wasn't convinced. She reminded her. The whole point of starting slow was to prevent injuries. You're taking it easy out there, right? Yeah, coach. I am. But behind the scenes, it was already showing. We shouldn't have run with Kristen, Anna said. What we did today was too much. No, it wasn't, Kristen snapped. You're just not in shape yet. Elsewhere, another runner, Shelby, was walking home when a few classmates called her over. Where you going? Don't you have practice? She hesitated. Yeah, but it's later. Then come hang out with us. I can't. They pushed, teasing her, trying to understand why she always said no. What do you mean you can't? You know what I mean. No, I really don't. Too bad, see ya. They didn't get it. But Shelby wasn't like the others. There was more going on in her life than just school and running. At practice the next day, Coach checked in with Heidi again. How's the leg? Better. Still sore, but it feels better. We've got a long run today, so just take it easy. Then she noticed Anna. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It reminded Courtney of her own high school days, basketball practice, double workouts, sore muscles. She understood. She'd been there. That day marked a shift in their training. For more than a month, Coach said, we've been laying the foundation. Today, we start something new, cruise intervals. A key workout. A tough one. 3 1-mile runs at tempo pace, about 30 seconds slower than their 5K race speed. Not sprints. Not jogs. Just steady, strong effort. Run a mile. Rest a minute. Do it again. Courtney had the course marked out. 100-meter start line, mile flags, and precise pacing charts. This is the most important part of the race, she said. Hit your target at the 100-meter mark and hold that pace. She warned them. No sprinting at the end. No showing off. This is about control. Even pacing. Kristen questioned the logic. My second mile is always 25 to 30 seconds slower than my first. Which tells me, Courtney replied, that you're going out too fast. Kristen pushed back. I finished 6th in the state. And with better pacing, maybe you'd have finished even higher. Coach broke it down in a way they'd understand. A car gets the best gas mileage on the highway at a steady speed, not speeding up and slowing down. Same thing with running. She handed out pacing targets. Anna, 6:40. Kristen, 6:24. Shelby, 7:04. They lined up. Time for a test run. Mark. Set. Go. They took off, and Coach stopped them almost immediately. Too fast. Everyone. Back to the start. This time, they were allowed to run the full 100 meters, but if they were even 2 seconds off, they had to reset. Kristen scoffed. I literally can't run that slow. But Coach didn't budge. This is not a race. This is a tempo run. And it only works if you do it right. One by one, the girls completed their runs. Anna, 6:42, right on target. Heidi, 6:51, close enough. Rebecca and Caitlin both hit their marks. Shelby, 7:04, perfect. For some, it felt too easy. For others, it was a challenge just to stay consistent. But for Coach Donnelly, this was a breakthrough. This was how champions were built, not just through grit, but through discipline. Kristen Sims crossed the finish line again. 6:15, still fast. Too fast, Coach Donnelly said. No, it's too slow. I'm not even tired. Courtney had heard enough. You're supposed to run a 6:24. You've got one more, do it right this time. But it wasn't just about pacing anymore. Kristen wasn't just defiant, she was refusing to be coached. Behind the scenes, the pressure mounted. Mr. Prater, the principal, was pulled into it. You can't kick Kristen off the team. She's the best runner the school's ever had. It's her senior year. But Coach Donnelly stood her ground. If she won't do the workouts, she's off the team. Mr. Prater tried to mediate. Let her do her own workouts. Keep everyone happy. That's not how it works, Coach said firmly. Not on this team. Then came the threat. You probably won't be coaching cross-country next year either. Still, she didn't back down. If you're gonna fire me, do it after the season. But don't take this away from the girls who are showing up, who care. Kristen Sims was off the team. And then, everything fell apart. Coach walked into practice the next day and looked around. Where are the other girls? They quit, Anna said. All of them? Yeah. Kristen had convinced them to walk out. But not everyone followed. Anna, Shelby, Heidi, Caitlin, Rebecca. They stayed. We don't want to quit, they said. We want to run. Only 5 girls left. Coach looked at them. You only need 5 to score in a meet. She had an idea. Make a fist. They held up their hands. 5 fists. Side by side. We're a team. Rule number 1, nobody quits. Yes, ma'am. Rule number 2, nobody gets sick. They laughed. And one more. What was Kristen about? Herself, right? That ends here. She opened her Bible. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31. Whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. That's gonna be our motto, 10:31. It wasn't about medals now. It was about purpose. It was about who they were running for. What do you say? 10:31. Outside of practice, real life didn't stop. Shelby was approached by a boy who liked her. Go out with me this weekend. I can't. Can't or won't? I can't. He didn't get it. Why? Because my dad doesn't let me date yet. He doesn't have to know. But Shelby held her ground. I said I can't. No excuses. No compromising. That took strength too. Meanwhile, the team was hearing rumors. Did you hear about Savannah? Heidi asked. What about her? Jessie said she started smoking weed this summer. Savannah, their old friend. The one they used to be close with. She changed, Anna said. Somebody needs to talk to her. She sits behind me in history. The day before their first meet, nerves were high. What are we doing today? 5 miles? But the meet's tomorrow. Coach pulled up in her van. Hop in, we're going for a ride. To a golf course. This is today's practice. They stared at her. We're playing golf? Yup. Mini golf. Laughter. Relief. Smiles. Even in the pressure of the season, Coach knew when to ease off. Hey coach, did you run cross country in high school? Yeah, I did. Were you any good? I was okay. So not that good, huh? Not that good is not that good. But okay is okay, right? Right. They weren't just building a team. They were building trust. Building heart. And they were just getting started. You should have seen the girls golfing. Coach Donnelly told her colleague. They had fun. They bonded. They laughed. But now, it was race day. Time to get serious. Coach gathered the team. Okay, stay on mark till 100 meters. We're running a couple starts. Just to check our pacing. She ran down the numbers. Anna, 25 seconds per 100 m. 640-mile pace. Heidi, 25.5 seconds. 648-mile. Rebecca, Caitlin, Shelby, all with their assignments. But Anna pushed back. Wait, coach, you want me to run 640? That's slow. I could be in the top 10 today. Coach looked her in the eyes. I want you to run 640 for all 3 miles. Even pacing. Anna wasn't convinced. That's my tempo pace. I'll get killed out there. Coach took a breath. Many times in God's Word, He asks us to trust Him, even when it doesn't make sense. I'm asking the same. Remember the goal. Anna hesitated. Yes, ma'am. The race began. Crowds cheered. The pressure was on. And then came the aftermath. Rebecca, you have to get out faster. What was wrong with you today? It wasn't encouragement, it was criticism. I just ran how the coach wanted. She replied. Well, if you're gonna run like that, there's no point in even being on this team. Rebecca's confidence cracked. Until Coach Donnelly stepped in. You ran exactly how I wanted you to. Great job. She gave her a quiet moment of dignity. Hey, good job. But the doubts didn't stop there. Anna's father, Mr. Glass, wasn't happy. Why did you have her run so slow? She finished 37th. She could have been top 5. Coach stayed calm. She ran a smart race. She hit her pace. And I'm proud of her. Mr. Glass shook his head. This is not what we signed up for. Coach raised an eyebrow. What did you sign up for, Mr. Glass? He fumbled. Well, not coming in 37th. Coach didn't flinch. Winning state takes training and patience. Today wasn't about winning. Then why are we running? He shot back. To do our best, she said. If that means winning, great. If it means 37th, fine. Anna did her best. It looked like she was jogging. Cross country is a puzzle. You put it together one piece at a time. Before walking away, she left him with this. 37th might not be your desired result. But 640 pace was. Your daughter nailed it. You should tell her that, before this day ends. But the complaints had already reached the principal's desk. Coach, every parent called me this morning. They said you had the girls run slow. Why? Coach looked him in the eye. Because it's the only way they'll get faster. That doesn't make sense. Coach smiled. Neither does Christianity, Mr. Potter. The way up is down. What? She quoted scripture. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up in due time. Cross country was no different. To get faster, you train slower. You don't run yourself into the ground. You build. You grow. And when state meet comes around, it'll all make sense. She turned, leaving him speechless. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a class to teach. They didn't get it, not yet. The girls didn't fully get it either. But Coach wasn't building winners in one meet. She was building warriors. Hey, Savannah, you know we only have 5 girls on our cross-country team. You should come out for it. Anna meant it. But Savannah just stared. What? You're joking. No, Anna said. It's a great sport. It's healthy, keeps you out of trouble, and you get to be part of a team. No thanks. And just like that, the door stayed closed. Later that day, Anna pulled Coach Donnelly aside. Coach, I've got a friend. We used to be really close, but she's been hanging out with a different crowd now. She's into stuff she shouldn't be. I want to help, but if I say something, she might just push me further away. Coach listened closely. If God put it on your heart to talk to her, then you should. I've been in that place, Anna. When I was your age, someone told me the gospel. I didn't understand it at first, but it changed everything. She paused. And remember, even Jesus was rejected. He was perfect, yet most people hated him. Anna nodded slowly. And if talking doesn't work, Coach smiled. There's still one more thing you can do. Next practice, cruise intervals. The girls groaned. Again? Coach, we've done these a lot. Yeah, but today, you're doing 5. Gasps. Coach, I can't. It's too hard. I won't make it. Coach looked at them, steady. But you'll try, right? There will be a time for rest. It's not today. They ran. 1, 2, 3. By the 4th, they were exhausted. By the 5th, they were gasping. But they finished. Good job today, Coach called. That was awesome. Coach, that was hard. Yeah, but you did it. And state meet? That's gonna be even harder. But when you cross that finish line, it'll be something you never forget. Anna spoke up. Coach, I was 5 seconds slower than I was supposed to be. You're gonna get better. All of you will. You're doing great. Then, one voice cut through the air. Coach, are you sure you know what you're doing? My mom, she doesn't think so. The girl froze. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Coach didn't react in anger. She gathered the team. There's a story in the Bible about a 12-year-old girl who died. As people cried outside the house, Jesus walked up and said, Why are you weeping? She's not dead, only asleep. And what did the people do? They laughed at him. They mocked him, ridiculed him, said he didn't know what he was doing. Do you know why? She asked. The girls shook their heads. Because Jesus did things the opposite of the world. She looked each of them in the eye. Following Christ means you're never going with the world. You're either going against it, or in the opposite direction entirely. And when that happens, people will mock you. They'll laugh. They'll think you've lost your mind. She smiled gently. But that's the price of doing what's right. The girls didn't fully understand it yet. But the seed had been planted. They were beginning to learn. True strength isn't in how fast you run. It's in who you run for. So, just because we're training differently this year, running our races in ways that might seem strange to others, doesn't mean it won't work. Coach Donnelly spoke with conviction, her tone calm but firm. Remember the goal. She shared more about the Bible story of Jesus raising the dead girl. It wasn't just about the miracle. It was about how Jesus responded afterward, quietly, humbly, without boasting. He didn't rub it in people's faces, even though he could have. That's the kind of person we should strive to be. She said, Great job today, everyone. Later, a conversation that was long overdue. Savannah, I heard you started smoking. No, I didn't. Come on. A lot of girls smoke. The Bible doesn't say anything about it. But Coach wasn't backing down. Just because other people do it doesn't make it right. You don't understand, you've probably never tried it. I don't need to try something to know it's wrong, Coach said firmly. It's like an alcoholic who starts with one drink, or a drug addict who starts with one joint. You know what's right and wrong, Savannah. That's why I don't hang out with you anymore. You're so perfect, judgmental. It stung. But Coach didn't flinch. I'm not perfect. But I want what's best for you. I want you to make the right choices. Meanwhile, Caitlin was struggling. She hadn't seen her father in months. He wasn't going to be able to come to the meet. Coach, all the other girls have their families, and I don't. My parents are divorced, and I don't get to see my dad. That's not fair. Coach's heart went out to her. Believe it or not, I know exactly how you feel. My parents got divorced when I was 11. They moved 4 hours apart. Caitlin looked up, eyes wide. 4 states apart. I'm sorry, Coach said softly. That's all anybody can say. Maybe he can come to the next meet, Coach offered. That's what he said last year. He never made it. Coach smiled gently. I never noticed how much this was bothering you. You're the comedian of the team, always making everyone laugh. Yeah, well, I gotta keep my mind off it, Caitlin replied, trying to smile. Coach had a plan for the practice, Hill repeats. We're doing 16 of these today. It's 300 meters up, then walk back down. Tempo pace. The girls groaned. Why? Caitlin asked. Because that hill is your best friend. And when you've got a best friend, you spend time with them. They ran. 1, 2, 3. By the 6th, they were struggling. By the 10th, they were almost spent. But they finished. 16. Good job, girls, Coach said with pride. That was awesome. Shelby approached Coach after the run. You were distracted today, Shelby. Is everything okay? Shelby hesitated, unsure how to respond. Yeah, maybe a little. There's this one boy. Coach knew where this was going. Do your parents know about him? Well, don't do anything behind their backs, Shelby. Keep everything honest with them. She took a breath. Think of it like the hill repeats. Would you have kept going after the 12th if I wasn't here watching? I would have done all 16. I didn't stop. Exactly. If you feel like your parents aren't watching, you might be tempted to stop doing the right thing. But you've got to keep everything up front. Honest. Coach Donnelly wasn't done trying to help Caitlin. She dialed the number. Hi, Dr. Van. This is Caitlin's cross-country coach. She tried to keep her voice steady, but there was worry there. Caitlin misses you. I think it would mean a lot if you could make it out to one of her meets this year. But the answer was not what she hoped for. Well, we've got one meet left, regional, a week from Saturday. She knew this was Caitlin's last chance. She pushed, but it was no use. Thank you for your time. She hung up, feeling defeated. Caitlin came to Coach later. Coach, did I do something wrong? No, it's nothing like that. I've just noticed you've been hard on yourself lately. Caitlin hesitated, biting her lip. I just feel like I'm always in Anna's shadow. She's better at everything, running, school, everything. I want to be the best at something, but it's hard. Coach nodded, understanding the struggle. Funny thing, Shelby was just in here saying the same thing about you. She thinks you're better at everything, running, school, everything. But she feels like you're better than her. Caitlin was confused. Shelby? Why would she feel like that? I don't know, but it's funny, right? Jealousy's a strange thing. It's stupid, isn't it? I should just be happy for Anna. Coach smiled softly. You know, Caitlin, there's one thing Anna or anyone else in the world isn't better at than you. Caitlin raised an eyebrow, curious. Being you. There's only one Caitlin, created by God. You're special. Your worth isn't in your running, your grades, or any of that. It's in who you are. Coach leaned forward, her voice calm but filled with truth. And you, Caitlin, you're priceless. Caitlin's eyes softened as she let the words sink in. Meanwhile, Heidi came to Coach. Can I give you just one other reason not to be jealous? Heidi looked up, puzzled. Because no one else is better at being you. Coach smiled. If someone came in and offered me $500 for your uniform, we'd sell it. But if they offered me $5,000 for your autograph, I'd say, no way. What if they offered $50 million? $500 million? Heidi chuckled, shaking her head. There's no amount that can replace you. Coach continued, her voice firm but kind. You're priceless. Don't ever feel like second-hand anything. Heidi stood tall, a new sense of confidence in her heart. Thanks, Coach. Caitlin's struggles with relationships weren't over either. I can't see you anymore. What? Why? I just can't. My dad doesn't want me to date anyone. Her voice was breaking, but she was resolute. I have to do what he says. I can't do anything behind his back. The boy didn't understand. Maybe it's time for your dad to let you grow up a little. I am going to grow up. But I'm doing it my way, the right way. She walked away, leaving the boy confused. Later, Caitlin's dad was still absent. Coach had been told he couldn't make it to pick her up. She made sure Caitlin didn't miss a moment. I'll have her out on time. Hurry, she can't be late. Caitlin's dad had his reasons for not being there, but Coach couldn't help feeling for her. She thought about her own experience. I played basketball in high school for 4 years. My JV coach was a yeller, always hard to please. But my varsity coach was different. She was an encourager. She cheered me on. Coach Donnelly's tough decisions. Rebecca was in trouble. She had forgotten to do something Coach asked her to do earlier. Rebecca, did I ask you to do something for me? Rebecca hesitated, then replied, I was going to do that after I did my homework. Coach's tone turned serious. I wanted you to do it then. Rebecca tried to explain. But I have this really important report due tomorrow. Coach's voice softened. Finish your homework, it's okay. You have enough on your plate with running and school. I'm proud of you for how well you're doing in school. Savannah's turning point. Then, Savannah came to Coach with surprising news. I quit. What? I quit smoking. I stopped. No more weed. Coach was stunned. Really? Yeah. What made you quit? Savannah shrugged. It just hit me. It's wrong. So I stopped. It's not what God wants me to do. Coach smiled, clearly proud. Well, I saved this. She handed Savannah something. Did you really do this? Thanks. You're welcome. Coach and her husband's discussion. Later, Coach was at home, going over race strategies with her husband. So, I was online checking our statements. We got an airline bill. Are you going somewhere I don't know about? Coach quickly explained. I was going to tell you about that. I have to finish this first. Her husband raised an eyebrow. What are you doing? Comparing times to see how we'll finish in the regional meet. For state, they take the top 4 teams from each region, plus the top 5 individuals not in those teams. He nodded. Didn't our girls win regionals last year? Coach smiled. Fortunately, there aren't many good teams in our region. Her husband was concerned. But what are those times? Coach paused, then added, I don't want them to win. I just want them to qualify. Race day strategy. On race day, Coach was adamant about pacing. I want you to run the exact pacing you've been doing in practice these last 2 weeks. Everybody understand? Anna responded. What? You want me to run a 6:32-mile pace? Yes, and just maintain it. Anna protested. We'll lose if we do that. Coach was firm. Just leave the results up to me. You run the race exactly like I've asked you to. And she reminded them again. Remember the goal. The aftermath. The race didn't go as Coach had planned. Anna didn't meet the pacing. What place did we come in? Coach's face fell. I don't know, but you girls didn't make it to state. Anna tried to explain. The coach told me to run her pace. Caitlin's dad, frustrated, snapped. I want you to do what I say. But Caitlin stood her ground. Dad, she's the coach. I have to do what she says or I'm off the team. Her dad scoffed. Just quit the team. That's what I want you to do. But Caitlin refused. I can't quit. We still have the state meet. Her dad shot back. You didn't make the state meet. You can't even blame the coach. It's her fault. A surprise visit. Caitlin had one thing that day, though. Her dad showed up at the meet. Hey, I just got here. I'm sorry I missed your race. Caitlin smiled, though she had every right to be upset. It's good to see you. I didn't know you were coming. Her dad tried to make amends. I wanted to see you run. But Caitlin wasn't as thrilled as he thought. You're out of luck, pal. Try again next year. Victory and unexpected news. Later, Coach had some good news for the girls. Good job, everybody. You all did great. Then, with a grin, Coach surprised them. You girls took fourth. You qualified for state. The girls cheered, thrilled with the unexpected win. The end of the season. But not everyone was happy. Coach was called into a meeting. I'm sorry, but after this season, you won't be coaching here anymore. The decision was final. This doesn't affect your teaching position, but I've heard complaints. Parents didn't like the way you coached this year, that you wouldn't let the girls compete hard, made them run slow. I'm sorry, but this decision is final. Coach's face was calm, but her heart ached. Thank you for the opportunity. I've really enjoyed working with these girls. She paused. If you ever change your mind, I'd love to coach again next year. The dad's influence. Tensions rose when Caitlin's dad, Jeremy, confronted her about the team's performance. What happened to you guys on Saturday? How did you finish fourth in the region? Caitlin tried to explain. We qualified for state, that's all we were trying to do. But Jeremy wasn't satisfied. Just admit that coach doesn't know what she's doing. You're lucky to even be going to the state meet with her. Caitlin stood her ground. At least we're going. Jeremy's tone sharpened. Yeah, and look what you're ranked. Last? You guys are going to get killed next week. But if Holloway was still here, we'd have been top 5. He added some news, hoping to reassure her about something else. Our track team will be in good hands with a real coach. My dad's coaching the distance runners this year. He's even contacting Holloway for some workouts. Caitlin wasn't sure how to respond, so she simply said, well, good luck at the state meet. Pre-race advice. The day before the state meet, Caitlin's dad still wasn't letting go of his frustrations. What time do you leave tomorrow? We get out of school at 11. What's your itinerary? Caitlin explained. Supposed to get there by 3, Coach said we'd walk the course, go over the race. But Jeremy was insistent. I want you to head straight for the lead in that race on Saturday. You could still probably get top 15 if you run your best. Caitlin hesitated. Dad? But he cut her off. Don't dad me. Just do what I say. At least we finally got rid of that coach. Can't believe we let her stay around this long. Caitlin was growing frustrated. We did make it to the state meet. Jeremy still wasn't pleased. Your team won regionals last year, and you should have won it again this year. He refused to drop the subject. Look, I don't want to get into this again. Now you have a good trip tomorrow, and your mom and I will see you Saturday. Coach's preparation. Coach Donnelly, despite the challenges, prepared her team with a calm, professional approach. This is the starting line. We're starting out of box 2. Let's walk the course, get to know it, then we'll go over what we're doing tomorrow. The team followed as she pointed out key sections of the race. Here's the mile mark, there's the clock. Make sure you're on pace. If you're a little slow, pick it up. If you're fast, adjust accordingly. Coach guided them to the 2-mile mark. Check your splits again, you're 2/3 of the way home. The race will be won or lost in this last mile. She then led them to the infamous hill. This hill comes just after the 2-mile mark, Fatigue sets in for a lot of runners here. But for you, it won't be a problem. When you reach the top, stay focused as you work your way downhill towards the finish line. You'll have other runners to pass, so keep pushing. Final stretch and focus. Coach continued her strategy, explaining the last stretch. When you hit the final stretch, give it all you've got. The downhill will help, but you still have to run hard all the way to the finish line. She then pointed to the finish line board. Your individual name will be on the left, and team scores will be on the right. It's constantly updating as people finish. Our goal is to get our team at the top of the board. Remember, lowest score wins. Coach's confidence amid doubt. After the course walk, Caitlin's teammate, Heidi, expressed disbelief. For a coach who lost her job, you never know anything happened. Another teammate chimed in. Yeah, did you hear what she just said about our team? At the top of the board? Someone else added. I know our coach is a Christian, but she must be on some heavenly drug or something today. Coach didn't let the doubt get to her. You've got a good pack this year, but I don't have a runner that can crack the top 10. That's what's hurting me. But the other coach replied. You've got 2 front runners, that's the difference. We'll see how it shakes out. But Coach Donnelly was still focused on the goal. Anything can happen. We still have to run a good race. But I trust my girls. The coach's legacy. As the coaches discussed, Coach Donnelly's leadership stood out. She wasn't going to let any setbacks cloud her vision. Despite the criticism from Caitlin's father, she remained calm and confident, knowing her team had what it took to compete at state. Thank you for listening. Remember, life isn't about always winning, it's about growing through the challenges, learning from the setbacks, and being kind to yourself along the way. If you found inspiration in today's story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting content. Leave a comment below and share how you've overcome your own challenges. Let's inspire each other. Until next time, keep believing, keep growing, and remember, your journey is just as important as your destination.